Many of you are familiar with the Luciferian symbology from these people who are usually the what we call Illuminati puppets. That's kind of the common term for them now. Show us all the time. And there's lots of things, especially in the music industry, because music can really change people. It can really impact their mind, their spirit. Everything about them can change just from listening to these songs. But I came across a song the other day. It's an old song. It's from the Rolling Stones. And my dad actually pointed this out to me because I don't usually listen to lyrics as much as I should. When I was growing up and I heard a song that had a really good beat, that seemed to be all that mattered. Didn't really care how vulgar it was. But the older and the more awake you become and spiritual, you realize there are some sinister things going on. But this one song, I know this is old news, but it has an important message. And the song is called Sympathy for the Devil. And I had never broke down these words or listened to them. I really never paid these words much attention. And my dad pointed this out and said, you need to look into these words. It's very evil. And when he started saying them, because he grew up listening to this sort of music, it was very crazy how out there it is. And I wanted to show you some important things that many of you, especially young people, need to understand how this world works, how the enemy works, what's at stake, because a lot of it is in the lyrics of this song. Because when you look at the people who have the world, the ones who were tricked into thinking that this world was everything and that all these short-term pleasures, short-term gains would just be the biggest reward ever. They get these rewards, they find out that there is a limit to physical pleasure, that these pleasures are temporary, that the things of this world are temporary. They have to partake in sacrifices and ceremonies that we couldn't even imagine most of the time. And it's very sad to see these people demonized and tormented. And we see it and it becomes Hollywood news. It's all the tabloids talk about when these people are tormented like that. It's very sad. There's usually patterns we see, and they always blame it on drugs and whatnot. But we know that it is definitely not drug related most of the time with these people. But here's the lyrics to this song, and I'm going to break some of these things down for you so you could understand exactly what's being said. Because it starts out saying, please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. I've been around for a long, long year. Stole many a man's soul to waste. So right there, stole many a man's soul, and what was the purpose? To waste them. Not to give them some reward in the future, some eternal gift. I'm sure they are promised that and told, because the most common belief now is that to these people is that they're told that when they die, that's it. They just need to live, have all the pleasures they can, and then die. And they will eventually perish. But they are losing their soul. Their soul is to waste. That's the goal of the enemy, is to have these people waste their soul. I'm sure they figure it out right after, but they have the world. They are very depressed, and some of the saddest people you'll ever see. Okay? Now this next one is what really is really powerful. It says, and I was round when Jesus Christ had his moment of doubt and pain. And this particular moment is actually mentioned in the Bible. It's a time when the Messiah was tempted by the enemy and brought to a high place and shown the world. And at this point, you have to realize the Son of the Most High knows exactly what his purpose is on this earth. He knows what's to come, and it's nothing pleasant. It's nothing that any of us would ever want to go through. This was very much a sacrifice indeed of someone who was beloved, perfect in every way, but tempted just like we are. And the Messiah could have chosen the world. A lot of you don't realize that. He was tempted, but he did the Father's will perfectly. And the enemy had no clue what would happen after the sacrifice was made. But he says right here, and he brags, the enemy, when he says, made damn sure that Pilate washed his hands and sealed his fate. So he's making sure that this happens. The crucifixion happens. It did happen. But this was not a victory like the enemy thought. And this is a verse down here that my dad reminds me of. We look at it's in 1 Corinthians, where it says, which none of the princes of this world knew. For had they known it, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory. This is talking about the wisdom of the Father. It's a mystery. Even the hidden wisdom which God has ordained before the world unto our glory, which none of the princes of this world knew. For had they known it, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory. But he did not know what was going to happen, what was going to be available to us. The Holy Spirit, the salvation that would follow, the multitudes and multitudes of people who now have power that they did not have access to before. And many of us are not using what we have and the gift that we've been given. We've been given such a gift. The enemy puts his words out there in broad daylight for everyone to see, and we ignore it. We don't see it often. But I wanted to share some of these words with you just to show you the enemy's game, because he's talking about it and saying what's puzzling you is the nature of my game. He says that several times in this song. And he wants you to guess his name, but nobody even knows or even thinks about a lot of the stuff that's in the mainstream, everything. He's even got his hand in religion. He's dividing us all. But here it is right here, some more evilness. He's bragging about it. And this is a very popular song. And you have the devil bragging about killing people. And people love this song because it has a good beat. And it says here, the enemy says, I stuck around St. Petersburg when I saw it was a time for change, killed the Caesar and his ministers, Anastasia screamed in vain. That's a good memory to him, when a young child screamed in vain, an innocent child was murdered. It says, I rode a tank, held a general's rank, when the blitzkrieg raged and the bodies stank. This was moments of glory to him. When people were dying, bodies were rotting, to him that's victory. He's causing destruction. And then he says, pleased to meet you, as if he's shaking hands with somebody. Just pleased to meet you. Hope you guess my name. And what's puzzling you is the nature of my game. I watched with glee. Okay, if you don't know what that word means, that's an old word for happiness. While your kings and queens fought for 10 decades. What are we constantly doing now? Fighting. Not for freedom. We're told it's freedom. We're fighting so that people that have the world can keep the world. People who are doing sick, evil, satanic things to get where they are, to stay where they are, to have the world. They're working hard at it. And they are deceiving the world. Not just about what the world is, but about who you are. And it's very, very important that we understand exactly who we are and who this enemy is here that's bragging about killing people, putting it in songs, and people are eating this stuff up. They don't even care. Oh, it's innocent. Yeah, it's art. Everything is passed off as art. This is not art. I know this is old news to a lot of you people who have seen these types of songs and paid attention to it, but it's putting out there how the enemy works, the nature of his game. And as you can see, many of souls to waste. And stealing, you can't steal something unless it's not yours. He's stealing their souls. He's tricking them. He's deceiving them. And it's sad. Yes, these people that we looked up to for years, we thought had everything. These are some of the saddest people and will be the saddest people. Very sad. Okay? The goal is for you to waste your soul. That's why people who distract the world, your actors, these are some main distractors, singers, these entertainers, and even comedians. Jim Carrey said it best. And I'll play those clips at the end so you can see that these people that distract you get paid the most money. People that play games, sing on a stage, act in movies, they get paid the most because they make the enemy happy. It keeps us distracted from our true purpose, from sharing the grace and love and truth that is available for everyone.
For years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile so you don't know what's really going on. You know, and they get out there in the woods in a circle naked and they decide these things.
Sign effigy, we shall read the sign. Midsummer sets us free.
Had we sold our soul to the devil? How else can you explain us being here on the
Yeah, we sell our soul.
I sold my soul to the devil.
I swear to Lucifer, I'm gonna
sell my soul to the devil. I know it's a crappy deal. Lisa came with a few toys like a Happy Meal.
And when I was 12 years old, I signed a deal with Satan in my room, and I was to...
CBS doesn't condone this.
Wait a minute. Because I wanted to get famous no matter what.